The
Business
Oddcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Oddcast. My name is Stuart Morrison. I'm your host, and your co-host with me is...
Hannah Logan, alive and well in 2026.
Yes.
Who'd have thought it?
Crawled our way across the line of 2025, put it to bed, and now we can sail into whatever choppy waters 26 we're going. Just don't. Right. So, this is the Business Oddcast, and as such, we are going to be focusing this year on helping your business. Last year, we were finding our feet, but this year, due to the fantastic work, I must say, of my co-producer and my co-host, Hannah, we've got a programme, and if you follow through, you can pick and choose as you go. But the overall aim for the year is to follow a kind of business journey of how do you get started, how do you keep going, all of those things. And we're starting off in 2026, our first episode, where everything starts. It's the morning routine. So what's today's topic, Hannah?
I'll do it.
The Mircale Morning, Neurospicy edition. Spoiler alert, there's no 5 a.m. yoga as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, we're looking at morning routines for the Neurospicy.
So this was after I remembered that there's quite a few. I've got quite a... It's not an inflexible, but it is fairly... inflexible. No.
It isn't, but it is, yeah.
You know, the other day we went away and I didn't have my salt, lemon and water first thing. And whilst I'm not going to make a thing of it, I could have owned it. I could have brought all my own stuff. It just nagged at me all day. So when I got home, I had to have it. It was like I hadn't ticked off that. And
like
it just
a
felt,
shot of it.
Yeah, it was just like it hadn't. So this was after sort of examining my own morning routine and realising I do have quite a, not a rigid, but fairly inflexible routine. And it's based off of this, The Mircale Morning by Elrod. Hal Elrod. Now, if you don't know what this book is, you don't need to know what this book is for our episode. We're going to go through how this book kind of influenced my thinking a little bit around my morning. So it's not a book review as such, but it's kind of the Neurospicy edition because I have adapted it to my own and bent to my own whim. And I know that you have your own routines and the things that you do in the morning. So we'll be covering all those points as we go. So the idea that the book presents is there's this perfect morning, and if you follow these particular steps every morning, you will have consistency in your productivity and your life, and good things will ensue, which is a great, fantastic and noble sentiment. But one morning that suits everyone on the planet, I mean, come on. I do struggle with generalizations. I mean, you know, again,
I'm not buying into it, Hal. I'm sorry.
You're looking at me very skeptically. But so you know, I just feel like every morning that I've woken up, I have successfully, one way or another, navigated the day. A book is not going to revolutionise my life. I'm sorry, how your work is inspirational, blah, blah, blah. But I've got my own way of doing things, and I've kind of have developed them over the years because they regulate me. I now know that that's what they're doing. They're regulating me. So today we're going to get into the Mircale Morning to find out if there is anything for useful for neurodiverse brains. And what does the perfect neurodiverse morning look like anyway? And spoiler alert, there is no one size fits all. Because guess what? There isn't any one size fits all neurodiverse. So, Hannah.
Well, I have to say, I feel a kind of pressure, not from you, by the way. I feel a pressure to have this kind of societal pressure to have this perfect morning routine. I just can't do it. I have tried. I won't, we'll talk about it in a bit, but I have tried. Oh my goodness, have I tried. Now I just feel like if I wake up in my own body, that is a win for me. I've achieved. If I wake up, I'm still alive. My eyelids open. I'm like, hello, cruel world. I'm still alive. Do I feel like I got any sleep at all? Yes, I do. Tick. On with my day. It's a bit more complicated than that. But yeah, there's not an awful lot of Hal Elrod in there.
It's
just survival, Stuart, basically, for me.
The idea of waking up and having a to-do list, makes my teeth itch. And yet I do kind of have a to-do list. So I think maybe there's a little bit of the PDA of you won't tell me how to have a perfect morning.
I'll do it my own way.
I'll do it on my own way. And even if I don't have a perfect morning, what's it to you? So we're going to sort of talk through the structure of the Mircale Morning and then kind of examine it from a neurodiverse point of view. But I do believe that if you find things that self-regulate, that support and deliver a calming start to the day, hey, do more of it. This isn't and that's, I think, my global response to this is there is no one size fits all. You might find that drinking water first thing works for you. You might drink water and feel sick. I don't know. Each to his own, or their own. So, as you pointed out, the real miracle is waking up. That's 100% of the days I have been alive, I've woken up, thankfully.
Yeah, but sometimes not so thankfully if it's a bad morning.
But you touched on a point there that it's that how did your whole sleep thing go?
Yeah.
How did you get to bed? How did the night proceed? And I've had horrible bouts of insomnia over the years. And some days you wake up and you crawl through the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is that so? If that is something that is your experience, how do you cope with a hella productive day in front of you, a full diary, and then, oh God, I've got to do this? What does your morning look like? I call it a trauma morning.
I think that nails it beautifully. I love a trauma morning. No, I don't. Why am I saying that? I think it's a weird one because sometimes I can wake up and I've had a really broken night's sleep. I probably got, 4 good hours, and yet I'm on fire. My brain's like, yeah, you can do this, you've got this. And I am just churning through some work and ticking things off the list. So for me, there is no rule. There's no kind of guideline of the way I'm going to feel dependent on how many hours sleep I got, because if my brain is kind of already on 0 spoons, then a bad night's sleep, I'm like just lying there crying, like calling for snacks if anybody in my family hears me. But then if I had a pretty chill day the day before and I didn't get much sleep that night, the following night, then I'm okay because I've already got some energy in me. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, definitely. I mean, years ago, I really suffered from insomnia to the point where I had to go and do a sleep study. And it was a whole thing. And what they said to me was, you have to have a set bedtime. And then you have to have a set wake time.
Oh.
And it kind of resets your body. If you demand of it these things, it will get in line eventually. Mine never did. Mine, I nominally get to 10 o'clock and think to myself, I need to go to bed, but I might not sleep for 4 hours.
Can you, well, so you've just said you can, really, but if somebody says to me, so I remember going to somebody, I don't know, I was doing some kind of chanty woo-woo stuff. I love that, by the way, if there's any chanty woo-woos out there listening.
Love a gong bath.
I love a gong bath. Oh my gosh. That is a whole new, So somebody said, Hannah, the problem is, she didn't sound like that, I'm exaggerating. The problem is, you need to go to bed at a certain time. You need a certain amount of hours. You need to not drink anything vaguely interesting 2 hours before you go to bed, just water and and do some chanting stuff and write a list of all the things you like in your life. And yeah, I did that for 3 days. Because the moment that somebody says... The moment that somebody says no screens before bedtime, Hannah, and you need your lights out at 10 with your eye mask on, my brain's like, you're not the boss of me. You won't tell me what. I'm an adult. I will pick my bedtime. And then my brain's like, nope, 10's for like children. And then, I'm at midnight and I'm still not written my gratitude list. And my brain's like, no, one of the only good things about being an adult some days is you can pick your bedtime. If somebody tells me that I need to,
You can also spend all your wages on cakes.
Oh, just all the beautiful things, all those beautiful, there's some rough bits of adulting, quite a few. But yeah, so somebody telling me, I get like PDA at that point. Is it PDA? I'm just like, no.
What about, here's one. So if there's a deadline on going to bed and then a routine about it, what about an alarm? How are you with an alarm?
A morning alarm?
Yeah, morning alarm.
I love an alarm.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you see, I can't do a morning alarm.
Oh, no, I'm good. So I am one of those annoying people, regardless of sleep amount. I am that kind of like, if I'm older, when I'm older, I'll probably be singing in the morning, whistling. I'm a really enthusiastically annoying person in the morning. Alarm ping, ching, I'm up. Yay, okay. Everyone's telling me to be quiet because they're trying to sleep.
Oh, I am an annoying person because when I'm up, the world's up.
But you can't do alarms.
It's usually 2 hours before any kind of notion of an alarm goes off. If the alarm wakes up and I've then got to get into my day and have there's a list of, almost like a treadmill of things to do, my brain can't cope. I've got to ease in. I don't make any decisions until I've had at least one cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise my brain is it's like, I think of it as like chips frying in a one of those big, like a chip shop
like
where they pour in the chips and you get that
chips,
It's like static.
It's like that sound of greasy joy.
Yeah. Well, that's my head. First thing in the morning,
just chip frying.
I'll quiet that down. I've got to just turn the simmer down a bit, And it takes me at least 2 coffees to get anywhere close to wanting to talk. The rage, if I have woken up late for me might be 7:30, but if I've woken up late and then I don't have enough time to sort of ease into the day and Gemma comes down and he's all bubbly and chatty, I'm like, will you just please questions? I don't need questions right now. You've asked me 3 questions, all of which there's an order to them. I've got to approach just a whole. So I need for the rest of the world to just, and the quiet calm of first thing in the morning without an alarm. Can't do an alarm.
So I set my alarm, but more often than not, I turn it off, so I wake up naturally before that. But my alarm is the kind of, God forbid you oversleep beyond, you need to get up and do some work.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of a 7:30, but I'm always awake way before that. So it's a little emergency stopper.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So it's
just
not
in
the
case
hard
something.
Wake up. Oh God, I've got to get on with it, because that was I always struggled with that.
Yeah.
As a kid, the alarm would go
Oh
off.
yeah, that's horrible. And you keep hitting the snooze.
Snooze, yeah.
So when you wake up in the morning, are you consistently the same person? Because I've got this theory that for traditional kind of morning routines to work, you need to wake up as the same person every day, and I don't. I literally do not wake up as the same person every day. There's a range of me.
Yeah. This week I've had lethargic stew hanging around, just a bit of a wet lettuce. It's like putting on a dressing gown that's come out of the washing machine. It's not had time to dry. It's a bit
too
damp
heavy.
and just a bit. So
Horrible.
I hear that, and it's usually to do with my energy, and I can usually trace it back to things that have happened in the previous few days. It's a little bit like bruise takes time to come out when you bash yourself.
Yeah.
So if you do a lot of peopling, it might not be the next day. I had a hectic weekend. It gave me, I struggled for about 3 days with the level of people.
That kind of social overhang, isn't it? Or hangover, not so overhang. Yeah.
Well, moving on along a little, we've got, so one of the concepts in this Mircale Morning is the concept of life savers, S.A.V.E.R.S, and each one of those means silence, affirmations, visualisations, exercise, reading, and scribing, writing, first thing in the morning. Now, that's quite a list to get through, and he suggests that it's done over an hour or whatever time you have, and pick and choose and adapt. So it's to be fair, Hal is being a bit flexible with it, but silence, affirmations, visualisations, Now, I just stop with visualizations. There are people out there who don't have the same mental makeup to visualize things, and this is where things like meditation for me or cognitive behavioral therapy didn't work. They fell apart under the weight of my brain and the fire hose of just think of it like Tigger on speed on a pogo stick on a trampoline.
A lot of bouncing. A lot of bouncing.
There's a lot of pinging off of the walls. Yeah. And if you try to say to me, I have to go through this routine every morning and do all these things, it's just not going to happen. One, don't have the focus, and two, don't have the energy.
I just forget. Stuart, I would have to have... I've been to see therapists. I don't mean I've seen a lot of brain therapists, you know, people trying to help me with sleep and all sorts of stuff. And I say, no, I can't stick to a routine. I won't remember it. And they're like, write it on a wall. Well, no. What? I'd have to have it on every wall in my whole... It's a no. It's a nice idea.
As we sit here and I look at my inspo board, I do have some things on it which have resonated, but they've been built over years. And sometimes they're basic reminders to do basic human things.
No, there isn't a breathe one. Anybody that's listening,
but they're just really simple things that you have to remind yourself. I don't mind that.
No.
But this idea that your entire morning is going to be, because they say what you think about is what you attract, and I get kind of that. I get kind of that. But when you've got a distractible brain, it's not that easy. So, do you think the morning routine needs to be pretty? It needs to be a continuous application of the same process every morning to have it, so let's take your question. Do I show up the same every day? No, I do not. Absolutely do not. So if that's the case, the next question to ask is, can you therefore have a consistent morning routine?
It's really hard, isn't it? Because I suppose regardless of what you rock up as when you wake up, if in theory, and I have tried for 51 years and I'm still failing at it, but in theory, if you woke up, did some stretches, went and had a hot water and lemon juice, listened to some music for a bit, all this process, maybe that would just guide you into your day nicely, but you're not entering that day as the same person every day, are you? So I've not explained that very well, but I just don't think, even if you're capable of sticking to it, and the best I've done is about 2 weeks. I can't even stick to taking my meds regularly. It's just brutal. I'm literally, as I'm saying this, I've just remembered I forgot my morning meds. That is my whole life. So the idea that I've got my woo-woo lady, she'll hate me if she's listening to this. Sorry if you're listening. She said, and it makes complete sense to me, I'm a very logical brain, very logical person. She said every morning, you start with positivity. You say, today I choose to be happy. Today I choose to be positive. Today I choose to be healthy. That's lovely. But then my brain just starts saying really stupid shit like, today I choose not to hurt people. Just because I can't do that.
My brain would go,
affirmations.
My brain goes, today's a cheese day.
Today I'm going to eat lots of cheese. I mean, and as you're saying it, I remember somebody saying, look in the mirror every day and say, you are amazing, Stuart. You've got to do this. You are amazing. Well, I do believe that I'm amazing. Yes, I do. But will that change if I look in a mirror? And if I think you're a bit shit, then if I shout, you are amazing into my mirror, does that change it? Or maybe I'm actually allowed to have a day where I feel a bit crap. It's a bit Clinton's cards, isn't it? You're the best. You've got this. I don't want to do a team talk with myself every morning. Like I've got to do my own personal, go Team Hannah. It's just weird.
Give me an H.
Yeah, I'll get the pom-poms out. Yay!
Hey,
you got 2 hours sleep.
What you do in the privacy of your own bathroom, you do you. Yeah, no, I'm not a big kind of rah-rah.
Toxic positivity.
No, I'm more cynical positivity. Chaotic positivity. So one of the next steps is about dopamine regulation. And having a discipline first routine is what the kind of Mircale Morning talks about. But as we have kind of highlighted, and if you are aware of this yourself, that kind of do it or don't think about it, just do it, doesn't work at all when your brain is thirsty for the dopamine, because it's like a dog on a lead. And if you've got a big dog on a lead and you're a small person, guess where you're going? You're going wherever
Through
the dog
the grass.
wants. Exactly. And if the dog picks up the scent of a rabbit, that's just hold on for dear life, because, it's going to be a rough morning. So do you have any thoughts or tips around like that dopamine regulation, especially first thing in the morning?
So do you know, actually, I've sat here and waffled on about how I don't have a routine. I do. It's just not one that Hal would necessarily have scribed about. But every morning, and I'm sure there's loads of gurus that would say this is a really bad thing, but for me it does start up the dopamine machine. I look at the calendar on my phone. I look at what I achieved yesterday. I look at what I've got to achieve or am aiming, not got to, aiming to achieve that current day. And then I kind of move. I think, how does my energy feel? I move some stuff if I think, actually, I'm not going to have a full-on day. My brain's not up for it. So the dopamine element of that is kind of getting a buzz about what I already did that week. Do you know what I mean? It's like a kind of, wow, look. So it kind of is that little hucker in front of the mirror, but it's more low level. It's almost like a box ticking exercise, really, just moving things around and seeing what I've already done. Yeah. So it's a bit dopamine-y.
Well, celebrating your wins always gives you a bit of a lift. Before I start writing, I go back and I read something that I'm pleased that I've just written, something that I'm particularly, because it not only kind of reminds me of my voice, but it also reminds me that I'm actually all right at doing this sort of stuff, and that I have to trust my instincts to write and be outside my editing head. And that comes from reading and just reading it, not critically, just reading it and enjoying the turn of phrase you've used or whatever it is you've said. So I think for me, that dopamine regulation comes, and especially if I'm doing some design work, I will put some low-level lights on. I'll put some of my favourite tunes on. I make sure I've got a nice cup of coffee, that I've chilled, that breakfast has landed, that I'm not, going to need the loo or whatever. And then it's hyperfocus for 4. Yesterday I did 7 hours with a break for lunch.
No.
Yeah, I mean, just straight through, to the point where, here's an embarrassment, knowing that I have a Zoom meeting at 5 o'clock with somebody who's quite important to one of my most important customers, and blowing through that, I had so many alarms. There were so many things dinging and bonging at me. I just didn't.
It's like being in a sound bath.
One was an hour and a half before, one was an hour before, one was half an hour before, one was 5 minutes. I didn't hear the 5-minute one. I just didn't hear it. Just functionally deaf. That's so deep in the scrutiny and the
zone.
Focus. Yeah, and that's again. You come back to have a consistent routine. I've got alarms to remind me to do things, and even then it's like having a stop sign and blowing through it at 100. Way! Yeah, just
But at that point, you're on the hyperfocus pony. You're literally galloping, aren't you? Just galloping on your journey. Like everything is going so fast past you, and you're not. Yeah, you're missing signposts and people trying to wave at you, and it's not. I've been there too, and you just kind of come out of it, and you're like, oh, I haven't had a wee for 8 hours, and my mouth is so dry. I'm like, I've like lost all my spit, but I've churned out a whole load of awesome.
So let's talk about systems and willpower, because those are the two sort of.
Oh yes.
Those are sort of two conflicting things. This is another thing. You know, you can have all the willpower in the world, but if you do not have the executive function to make you do it, or the hyperfocus has kicked in, or just whatever, willpower will not get you where you need to go, really, with a neurodiverse brain. Unless it aligns with the fault lines in your hyperfocus and special interests.
Yeah.
Because you will have the willpower. But at that point, it's not willpower. You're loving it. You only need willpower to keep you doing the things. You know, if you're getting a massive hit of dopamine every time you do your thing that you love, hey, guess what? You're going to be doing the thing that you love a lot. And that's why I think that having systems works for me slightly better than just the willpower, knowing that on Mondays I do money stuff.
Yeah.
Just that's what I do. And if I wake up and I don't have the willpower, well, you know, doesn't matter. I'm not beating myself up because that's the point to this, is you're almost setting yourself up to the fail, to the point where you go, well, I'm defective and broken human being, which, as we know, we're not.
No.
It's a feature, not a bug. It is what it is. You just have to work within the parameters of your skill set and your operating system. So that's why I think for me the systems work. What do you have? What is your take on that?
So I've tried rigid routines over the years, and the autistic part of my brain loves that. You know, in many ways in my life, things need to be done this way. You know, I'm very rigid in a lot of my routines, but when it comes to kind of something like a morning routine, it only takes one element to go wrong. For example, I remember when I was into a routine and I used to make my coffee, and while I made my coffee, my supplements were there. I'd take all of my supplements, about 50 of them, jangle all of those down my throat. One day, one of them was missing, so my brain's like, yeah, you can't take all of them then. You can't take any of them because number 3 is not there. So then I got to order more of whatever that was, something irrelevant, iron, whatever. It's not very irrelevant, is it, iron? So then I'm like, well, I can't take them till that arrives. So that's coming in a couple of days. By day 3 and the new stuff's come, it's gone. It's not part of my routine anymore. It's just gone out of my brain. And at that point, my routine, or my need for routine, completely resets. It's like somebody just reset the whole system. And I'm like, oh, and I've got to start a new routine. So it does. I know it sounds, as I say it, I'm thinking, but for me, it isn't a laziness that I break that routine, or a lack of anything. It's just that I'm all or nothing. You know, I have ADHD and autism. The autism's like, do it rigidly. The ADHD is like, you can't tell me what to do. So the moment that one, you know, supplement was gone, then autism's like, no, burn it all. And then ADHD is like, don't even bother with any of it anyway. Do a different thing. So it's just like, so my answer is I choose to be flexible, and I remove, and I'm giving permission to anybody that's listening to this, by the way, if you can't find a routine that if you can't follow a recommended routine, you just have to find the routine that works for you. I live in a house full of spicy, awesome humans. They all have completely... Before this episode, I was watching them like little hamsters in a cage, you know, like studying them from afar. And I thought they all have their routine. You know, my daughter, her alarm, I hope she's not listening, her alarm, she sets it on purpose way too early, and she waits and she wakes up on the 3rd alarm. That's not because she's sleeping through them. That's part of the routine.
Right.
You know, she eases herself, and then she has to go to the bathroom and wash her face and do whatever she needs to do. My husband is he has to go straight downstairs, have a coffee and just sit on the sofa, and I think he's reading his Kindle for 10 minutes. You know, they all have very, very different routines, some more rigid than others, and I probably have a few routines that I just alternate depending on which version of me woke up that day.
So here's one. And we've touched on this and we've spoken about various elements, so let's just get into it. The hangover morning. Not alcohol hangover.
Not the drunk one, no.
Like I had 2 really, really back-to-back people-intensive situations, and one of them, the sensory overwhelm at it. It was a gathering, an event, and I had a migraine the day before, and it was just too much, and I had to leave. And I knew that the following morning was going to have to be lying on the sofa, regulating, watching crap YouTube videos that my brain doesn't think about, and just letting the system settle. What's your routine for a day, or when you wake up facing a full-on day with flashing energy bars on your on your meter?
When I'm like minus 12 spoons, you mean? So you taught me, and it was completely alien to me until it just was not in my brain at all. You taught me buffer days, and I had before that just kind of like kept on pushing through with the, putting that pressure on me. You shouldn't be tired, that kind of horrible rubbish that I'm sure we've all done at some point. And you taught me, well, actually, I am organised enough that if I know that I'm going to a full-on networking thing one night, I know that the following morning, all that peopling and talking, and I love it. I love talking, just in case anyone hasn't got that already in the last 17. You don't, Hannah. Talking, you say? I don't believe it. All that talking, I get home, let's say I get home at 9 o'clock at night, and then my brain is awake like crazy town till 1 a.m. I know the following day I'm going to feel shit. So I plan my buffer days. So the following day is a easy slide into it gently day. And that's how I manage it. I suppose, the other day I got a really bad night's sleep. The cats kept waking me up, and it was just one of those things. It was like some kind of comedy, Every time you got back to sleep, another cat was scraping on the door. And I woke up and felt like, oh, did I get any sleep at all? And I had a really full-on day, what it was meant to be. And I did feel I did like sort of speed drink a load of Diet Coke, which I don't recommend this, listeners. Please don't. That's not the way forward. I didn't stab a pen in it and then pulled the thing and like you used to. Yeah, I didn't shotgun it, but I knew. I kind of slightly chastised myself and just thought, Hannah, how did you let yourself get to a point where you're having to, you're relying today on Diet Coke and dreams, really, just to get through.
Diet Coke and dreams.
Just to try and get through. I try and avoid those days. They do happen and they break me. And then I think, I needed to put a proper buffer in place. Or I've actually started, you'll be so impressed, Stuart, because I was never like this. I've started to say no to stuff. I was meant
controversial.
I know, right? Do it, people, do it. I was meant to start building a website this week, and I was really struggling because it's a big project. Well, it's not a huge project for me, but getting my head around it. And the day that I was meant to start to get my head around it, my brain was like, nope, like a big old bowl of spaghetti in there. So I did a load of what I did do. I did work on it, but I did loads and loads of planning, worked out the best order to do it in, and got my head around it. And then I could sort of hit the ground running, or can hit the ground running with it. But yeah, you've just got to be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. My tip is Red Bull and Rage.
Like my Diet Coke and dreams. Basically, it's caffeine, people. Just
white knuckle and caffeine. Yeah.
When you start really shaking, you know that it's time to go and sit in a cupboard for a bit.
Everyone's got their rocking cupboard, right?
Yeah. Mine's the wardrobe. It's not very big, but no one's found me.
Well, I think we've touched on all of the points in the book. Now, again, I read the book years ago. I refreshed my memory with the Speed Notes version, which we'll link to in the bottom of this episode. But I don't necessarily think that it was not worthwhile to read this book or to consider the things in this book. I think you are going to have a morning routine, even if by default that is no routine. So I like to think of it as little things that boost my health and my mood that I do to set myself up with a foundation. As soon as I start to think of it as a routine, my entire body bristles of who's going to tell me what to do. I'll do my own.
You're not the boss of me. Yeah.
So there are some takeaways from this, and I think they're worthwhile thinking about and offering them up to the listener and asking them, is this your experience? What do you do for your regulation and for your executive function? Do you have a few touch points in the morning? Touch points, I like that. A few touch points in the morning that you have to check in with just to feel regulated. Things like energy, tracking your energy, that might be useful, and especially I always think of today as a bit of a lagging indicator of what I have been doing.
Yeah.
So I'm back into training for running. I've got a little kind of project that I'm thinking about doing next year, and I'm way off of the pace of where I need to be. So I know that I need to adapt my energy and to make it more available for that. So I'm going to be tracking my energy. What's your takeaway there?
On the tracking of the energy,
on the
or
tracking
just
of the energy, yeah, or well, in fact, anything,
I think I really like the idea of tracking the energy and just being mindful of that energy. How am I feeling today? What have I got on today that's gonna, how many spoons is it gonna dissolve?
Well,
that all that kind of looking forward into that. But for me, one of the big things is to. I know we have said this a bit already in this episode, but not feeling bad if you aren't hitting the goals that you're trying to do that day, or not, understanding that your routine is for you. It is aimed to help you. It isn't something that society tells us to do. It's kind of a way of giving yourself the best chance every day. So tracking your energy is a huge one. And understanding that you're going to need to be flexible. Like I said, I've got loads of different versions because I don't know which magnificent Hannah's going to crawl out of her cave of a morning.
So maybe one of those sort of takeaways is have some micro routines that you can bolt together. And if some mornings you're feeling like, I don't want to do my affirmations. I mean, if you're listening and you're using affirmations, don't stop using them. This is not.
They can be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a one size fits all. This is just a one size tends to fit none, and adaptation is the key to this. We touched on it there. Touch points, anchor points. One or two predictable morning actions. I get up. First thing I do is try not to trip on the cat on the way down the stairs. And then it's rock salt, Himalayan pink rock salt, 1 turn of the grinder, which is a sprinkle, lemon or lime juice, and then water and top it up. I think of it as
cold water.
Just cold water, tap water.
Yeah, okay.
And I think of it as my morning margarita.
Oh, nice.
But what I noticed was, when I drank it, it was like my eyeballs refilled, my energy level sort of just came up. And if I give that half an hour before I do anything else, I feel way more focused. It's like if I went straight to a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, as it is at the moment, and I would be way more jangled, way more kind of like, I don't know, like fizzy.
Yeah.
Whereas drinking the water, it's like, it rehydrates you. You just feel yourself filling up. So do you have any anchor habits in the morning, that little things that, apart from biological necessities?
Yes, having a wee.
Not tripping on the cat.
Yeah, I do have habits. I spent this whole episode denying that I have any habits. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try the salt and lemon juice, because actually that is really good for you. I went through a phase of doing the apple cider vinegar shot, which is quite good, but tastes minging. But it was the same idea in a way of just kind of like that zing. It kind of woke up all the senses. It did really help.
So this leads me nicely into our next takeaway: preparing the night before. I've often found that when I wake up in the morning, if I go downstairs and it's laid out and what I need to is easy to access, don't have to go rummaging through the dishwasher, because that can just set you off. Like, I've got to go in the dishwasher. That's disappointing. That's just, I've got to put it all away at that point because I've broken the seal on the dishwasher.
Do you prep? So, as you were saying it, I thought, no, I'm not a prepper. But then actually I am. If I've got something the next day that is quite alien to my average day, so let's say I've got a really early, like when we had the breakfast morning thing the other week, then I will prep the night before. I'll even lay out my clothes like a small child.
No,
I don't do that every night, but if I think, okay, everything I normally do is moving forward by 2 hours, so actually I don't have the time to be like, what shall I wear today? I'm just going to prep that the night before. It takes... For me, and I'll make sure, I've got the postcode for the sat nav and all, photo on my phone. So just to make sure it takes away any of that fear or panic in the morning.
Yeah.
That means I can sleep tight because I know that I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, you're all ready for the next day.
I quite often have lists running through my head, and if I'm lying there thinking, don't forget when you get up in the morning, you've got to put your dirt in your dirt and do the thing with the thing and the other thing. I will forget all of those things, so I have to do them as I'm thinking about them. And then you put your bag where you need to, you put your clothes where you need to. Also, I don't want to wake the household up, so I want to be slightly quieter. And when I was training for the marathon, I made sure that my running gear was out and in the kitchen in the order that I put it on. I didn't even have to think of the order because it has to go on in a certain...
Of course it does.
It has to go on in a certain order.
I'm so proud of you right now.
And I would stack it up in a layer so that, the things that had to go on first were on top. And
that's so good.
I removed as many decisions or things in my brain. And the one overriding mantra I gave myself was no emotion before motion. So I wasn't allowed to think, I don't want to run. No, that's an emotion. You're having an emotional reaction to the idea of running. Oh, it's a bit hard. Yeah, tell you what is hard. What? Having no legs. You try doing anything. And so you're a privilege to be...
You lucky runner, get your trainers on and shut up.
Exactly. Sergeant Major in my head. And for that, and for whinging about it, you're now going to go and run uphill. So you've got 3
now you're going to do
run from your house, and
those
2 of them
horrible
are
hill
uphill.
sprints.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of stock that I put in preparing the night before, even to the point where when I leave my office, I will quite often open the documents that I need to.
Oh, that's next level.
So that I don't have to find them in the morning. Because trying to find them and then thinking to yourself, I can't find them. And then just having that kind of like getting really angry about it, that can then make me feel like I am being taunted by like inanimate objects. I've often thought that the universe is out to get me, and I've been proven right. But that preparation of having the documents open, the notes open, the previous emails, just skim them, just so that I remember that. And let my brain just absorb it overnight. So when I sit down in the morning, if there's anything that comes along, like, I do web stuff, I may have had a text from a customer. Can you have a look at our website? Blah, 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 blah. That could derail my entire day.
Yeah.
Unless it were that I've got everything set up. I can have a quick look at that. I can set up my team to deal with it or deal with it myself, quickly put out that fire, but it's not going to derail my day. And I think even to the point where I built an office in my garden that nobody else goes in, so that when I walk out of the door and I shut the door and I lock it, I know that when I come in the morning, everything's going to be exactly where I want. If you walked in here and you looked, you'd go, this is a mess. But it's all current projects and I know where absolutely everything is with a fair degree of accuracy.
Yeah, I think it's good. I get that. I get that completely.
The use of language, I've often said, is whilst I might not have regular mantras that I sit there chanting or staring in them. What psychopath stares into a mirror? Stare into your own eyes.
You're beautiful, Stuart. That's what you have to say, Stu. You have to... You are a winner.
I was born awesome and I've just been getting better ever since.
Yes.
And as soon as the world realises that, we're off. Using future you language, I think of my future self quite often and say out loud things like, well, that's future Stu's problem. But other times I thank myself from the future when I turn up and the thing that I know that is going to trip me up is labelled not only with the thing that it is, but, this goes here, this goes there, don't forget to do this. And I've made a little note to future Stu. And that reduces the amount of brain cycles because I can legitimately forget about it. I don't have to file it. I don't have to put it anywhere. I don't have to keep a note and remember I've kept a note and then keep a note that I've kept a note. Just don't. The lists I've got. So I think of myself in the future quite often, and do I have the energy now to make his life better, or can I get away with owing him or him making up the slack for me being slack right now? Going back to what my grandfather said, which was you choose where it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, you do the hard work now or you do the hard work in future. Well, that's why I kind of run, because being old and immobile for me is harder than going and running in the rain for an hour.
Yeah, that makes sense. But when you are prepping for future stew, so I do that, not for future stew. I'd like to, if I ever have enough spoons to prep for your stuff as well as my own. But then sometimes I forget. So when I was doing some work yesterday, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to plan out this thing. And then I found out that, like, past Hannah had done it. So as I'm starting to do it, I find a file and I open it up and I have no memory of this file, which is literally created last week. And I'm like, oh, past Hannah's a legend. She's literally done it already. But past Hannah did not tell future Hannah. There's no signposting. So I've done that a few times. like I must have done it in a hyperfocus and not, you know, I was moving so fast. My brain was moving so fast that I just, you know.
Oh, I've written things that years later,
just don't remember.
Weeks later, I've read and gone, who wrote that? That's brilliant. not
You
thinking
are
myself
incredible.
up.
Oh, okay, that was me.
That was me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely get it. So we talked about adapting the routines. That's a given. You know, adapt it as you hit it if you need to. But it's almost like you need the plan before you hit it, so that you know that, as we said in our overwhelm episode, and the overwhelm kit is there to prepare for the moment that you need it, not to be used in the moment. And so if you have a version of your routine which is a cut down, low energy, gets you through, you know, survival survival mode, do that. Absolutely.
Limping along like when your car comes a little light,
turtle mode,
and you're
go and listen to the Christmas episode about turtle mode.
It is very good advice.
So it's creating those dopamine pathways and getting started in the day soon. And I think this is the one to really sort of take away. And I've heard this, and I've heard you use this, and I think that it's important that our listener understands that kindness beats perfection, to yourself, to everyone.
Absolutely that. Not beating your, you know, there's been a lot of shame in my life, and that's not because I've done a load of shameful things, but a lot of kind of, I didn't do it properly, I let myself down, I let other people down, and all of that kind of stuff. And when you lead from kindness and not shame, you know, you miss a day or you didn't get done what you needed to do. Well, you know what? No one hopefully died. And you can show up tomorrow. But if you spend the next day hating yourself because you're crap because you didn't do it, then no one's winning. So kindness all the way, not shaming yourself. If you haven't got the energy, you'll get the energy. Just, you know, wait till you've got it.
I often think about the concept of slow business. I think I mentioned it before, the idea that we're building businesses that we can live with, that aren't foot on the floor, hustle culture, smash the walls down, go. They are thoughtful, they are considered. And I think one of the things that I've learned about the small business community, and this isn't everybody, but it's quite interesting at how kind other people can be, in fact, how much more kind they can be to me than I am to myself. So I think we've covered the Mircale Morning. I think our overriding piece of guiding advice is you do you. Yeah. But whatever you do it with some intention.
Yeah. And kindness.
Kindness to yourself as much as anyone else. Get up if you need to and do you, so that when you meet the world, you've got a smile on your face, or at the very least, not a grumpy scowl. It can be hard.
Yeah, I can't promise I won't have a grumpy scowl, Stuart.
So if you've liked any of this, do feel free to like, share and subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of the community, part of the Odd Squad. Do sign up. Go to the website, businessoddcast.com, and tell us what you think. Good, bad, indifferent. Is there any topics you think that we need to cover? Let us know. As I said at the head start of the episode, Hannah here has kindly written out a production schedule of topics. Well, they kind of follow hand in hand, and it makes sense rather than a grab bag of ideas as we go, which kind of to this point...
Are you saying we were winging it, Stuart?
Well, I
might
think
have been.
I think it was a useful exercise.
Yeah,
I just think
absolutely.
Slightly more structure is helping both of us.
Yeah.
But that's it. So, what's next week's topic, Hannah?
Oh gosh, next week's topic is thriving without a 5-year plan. So, looking at short-term wins, long-term awesome.
I love that.
Short-term wins and long-term awesome.
It's such a title, such a neurodiverse title, isn't it? It's not short, it's not punchy, but by God,
Past Hannah wrote that. I don't know what she was doing.
So come along for that, and we'll read out any comments you're going to send us, anything that you want to share with us, any stories, any tips, any hints, anything that you do that makes your morning extra special. Do let us know. But otherwise, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye. Step away from PAYE. Don't do it.